We're moving our way through the rounds at Indian Wells, and there's been some high-profile exits on the men's, and on the women's, it seems like all the favourites are winning right now.
Round 2 in the books, and Novak Djokovic, to my disappointment, is out of the tournament, JG. I mean, what am I supposed to say? He's not looking his real self anymore. I'm actually worried that we could be seeing the beginning of the end of Novak Djokovic. You've been calling it, I think, for the last 6 months to a year, and now I'm sort of becoming a part of the realization that Novak Djokovic looks a little bit older on a tennis court, and he can't just find that form when he needs to get past what would seem a more basic player in Botic Van Der Zandschulp.
Yeah, of course, Djokovic is one of the big stories. We have to probably start with it. I can't say I'm surprised. I had him going out the round after against Francisco Cerundolo. And it is disappointing, like you say, but it can't be surprising. I mean, really, he's, I feel, at his age now, done so many amazing things and already gone past the boundaries of what was expected of a professional athlete. I don't think anyone thought at 38 years old, he was able to be doing what he's doing currently at the top level. And that's why what he did against Carlos Alcaraz at the start of the year, a few months ago, beating him in that match at the Australian Open, surprised so many people that he was able to still do that in 2025. At his own admission, he said it's a bit like that at the moment. It's been like that for the last few years. He can have some really good matches and then some really bad ones. He's struggling to find that consistency level, and he's going to be in decline. And that's why people in the comment section needs to be a little bit more realistic. I understand you're a big Djokovic fan, but it's pretty normal to have him going out of some of these early rounds. I don't see him winning another Grand Slam again. I think he's going to consistently struggle now for the rest of 2025. And yeah, it's disappointing, obviously, for his fans and himself. But you just need to celebrate the greatest ever career in tennis, because nobody is ever going to be able to reach the heights of what he's been able to do statistically. I think that's safe to say.
Definitely, and it seems that we're always getting this same guy, the giant killer they're calling him, or giant slayer, Botic Van Der Zandschulp. Whenever there's a player who's getting beaten, it always seems to be his name who's down the other end causing the upset. And he never even looks bothered, does he? He just turns up on the court, he just plays his tennis and wins, but doesn't really ever make such a big deal about it. He just sort of goes, oh, that was a nice easy win against Nadal, nice easy win against Alcaraz, nice easy win against Djokovic. I've never seen anything like it. This guy, I think he's cool, calm and collected, but a lot of the time he's just been really bad on the tour as well. So you never know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, I mean, he can lose to anyone. But if you look at his last 7 completed tour-level wins, because there's a few matches that weren't completed, he's now beaten Alcaraz, 194 in the world, 203 in the world, Nadal, 88 in the world, 267, and then Djokovic. So he's a very strange player. I can't quite work it out with Botic Van Der Zandschulp. We know there's a fantastic player in there, but beating Alcaraz, Nadal, Djokovic in your last 7 completed tour matches, I don't think many people can say they've done that. So it's pretty cool, especially the Djokovic one being in a Masters event, the Nadal one being one of his final matches, and the Alcaraz one was in a slam, right? US Open, was it?
Yeah, and beat him easily as well. It wasn't even a close match. He just took the game to Alcaraz. Alcaraz really wasn't at the races, and that's what it takes. It takes that perfect combination for Botic Van Der Zandschulp. If he plays his best tennis, and he was playing really well against Djokovic yesterday, I have to give him credit as well for the performance. I think Djokovic just didn't ever get in a rhythm, and he's sort of a terrible person to come up against when you're not in your rhythm. Somebody who can hit through the ball hard. He is very good in a recovery, in a rally, keeps everything in, and Djokovic was just struggling to play that extra shot. So fair play.
Okay, he was good, but I watched this match, especially the back end of it in full, And Botic, I don't think was particularly amazing. I thought he was a little bit lethargic at times. There was a few times the ball was going up for the smash and he was hitting it back to Djokovic. He was lacking that killer instinct. It wasn't a high quality match, I don't believe. I think
No.
Djokovic can lose to a lot worse opposition than Van Der Zandschulp because
Okay.
Van Der Zandschulp wasn't at his best and he won. So this is just some of the ways I see it. Of course, there was some good high level points within the match. But
Yeah.
over the course of it, it wasn't amazing, to say the least.
No, it really wasn't. It wasn't very, very high level. It's not what we're used to seeing, the type of matches. It wasn't like Djokovic, Alcaraz. It wasn't like seeing Jannik Sinner versus Alcaraz, those type of matches.
No,
It
I don't even
was,
mean that, though, Ben. I mean, it wasn't like watching any of the other top matches. It wasn't like watching a Munar or a Giron or any of these guys. It was very slow, it seemed. I don't think it was a top level match in terms of it was struggling a bit of pace and
it's the
a bit of
courts, I think, a little
Van
bit.
der Zandschulp looked a little bit flat too. But he still was able to beat Djokovic, and it's not looking great for Djokovic. The writing's on the wall. We're going to keep seeing losses, I think, like this. But let me know, guys, what you think in the comments section.
My
Let's move on to the next part of this one, Ben.
Yeah.
Um, unless you had something to speak
Yeah,
about.
I just want to ask you a quick question because obviously we've just seen Botic go through. He knocked out Kyrgios in the first round, who was just a retirement after that, losing that first set tie break. And now he's knocked out Djokovic, the two good friends, the doubles partners. I've got a question for you. Who do you think is going to retire first, Kyrgios or Djokovic?
Oh, it's obvious, isn't it? That's not, for me. That's not a challenging question, and that's where I'm going to next. So, Nick Kyrgios, let's speak about him because I don't think we've really touched on it on the podcast at all. It's going to be Nick Kyrgios. He might not even play again. I don't
Yeah,
think he can. I think he's done. I think Djokovic will play the course of the season. We may see him even start next year, play in the Australian Open. I'd expect him to be there. And I expect him to be at the Slam still. Kyrgios, I don't see him playing now. I think he is generally done. It's sad to see with a wrist injury. I know some people are being very critical of him and saying, "Oh well, I'm really glad to see a man crying like Kyrgios because he deserves it." But at the end of the day, he's brought so much joy to our screens on a tennis court, and we all talk about him because he's interesting and he sells tickets and people want to see his matches. You may not agree with a lot of stuff he says off the court or his actions on the court most of the time, but at the end of the day, he's interesting, and I think we should, in this world, treasure and praise people who have that level of interestingness about them because there's so many boring people in this world. I think Kyrgios adds that little bit of color which we need, especially in tennis. So it's going to be a worse place without him in tennis, but I see his career completely done. I don't see him coming back, making another go of it. He's getting on in age. He's got a lot of things going on off the court. His focus maybe now, knowing that he can't ever really reach a Grand Slam final again or win one, will have to shift. I don't think he's motivated by winning low-level events. What he really wanted was a Grand Slam. Of course, he did get that in the doubles, but wants a singles one. So I think it's over. If you don't have the motivation to get on the court and do things because you know you can't go and win what you want to win, what's the point? Pack it in. He's going to have a great career off it. And yeah, it's another sad retiree because there's been so many players since we started the podcast, 5 years ago or so, till now. In that period, I think we've lost a whole generation of players. And Djokovic is going to be one of the last ones of that generation.
yeah. I think Nick Kyrgios, he has put eyes on the sport as well. That is the one thing that he has done well in his career, whether it be for good reasons or bad reasons. He has brought a lot of eyes to tennis, and he may have brought a lot of new fans to tennis as well. He's always pushing the sport changing. He's always wanting there to be some changes in the sport. I think some people don't like him being the voice of reason sometimes because of all of the negative things that he does. But I think you still have to applaud what he's done. He's a great talent, and he will be missed. The wrist injury is so hard to come back from. We've seen Dominic Thiem; it ruined his career. He was lucky enough to be able to get a slam before it happened, but as soon as it happened, I mean, Kyrgios has been off for 2 years, and he's come back, and if it's the wrist's gone, it's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. You may as well retire rather than risk completely crippling yourself for the rest of your life. You've got a career after this for sure, doing something else. He's a very, very engaging character. He's definitely good on the mic. So there's definitely another career after tennis for Nick Kyrgios.
Yeah, agreed. Don't risk the risk.
Exactly right. That's right. Somebody who was definitely at the top of their game, not at the bottom, was the Brit, and it was Jack Draper showing João Fonseca what it's like to be a new mainstay at the top of the men's sport, and he did it with style as well, bageling Fonseca in the second set, 6-4, 6-love. This was just impressive. I thought it would be slightly closer, but I'm very, very happy to see Jack Draper stepping up and proving that he is a top 10 player. He will be there soon, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and it has gone to how I predicted. I did think that Fonseca was going to beat Fernley, then lose to Draper. I wasn't expecting a bagel, like you said, but the first set did live up to the billing. Fonseca was hitting some really good forehands, and Draper didn't have any answers for some of them. And there's a real star in the making in Fonseca. It just seemed like watching the match, it was a guy at 18 who's so raw and fresh and young and maybe not ready to be consistent. Whereas Draper has had a few more years under his belt. He's had a few more of them Fonseca years where he was that guy. Maybe not as well thought after as a Fonseca, because I think the hype around Fonseca is like a Alcaraz or a Sinner, right? Or certainly an Alcaraz, maybe not Sinner, because he didn't have that same hype at the early stages. So brilliant performance from Draper. I think now the target has to be top 10. He needs to finish inside the top 10 this year. He's so close already. And can he go really far at Wimbledon? Can he go far in a Grand Slam? He needs to do something big like that and try and get inside the top 10, because now is the moment. You've got Djokovic on his knees. He's finished. Nadal's gone. Federer's gone. A lot of these other players, Medvedev is looking a bit wobbly. There's chances. Zverev struggling. Draper he can take this opportunity. Sinner's not on the tour at the moment. Is that going to affect him? Draper has some great chances. 2025 is the time. And if he doesn't manage to win something big, I think it's an opportunity missed. He's good enough.
He's definitely good enough. And especially when we see other players stumbling, and there have been a number of players stumbling around the top 10. Most notably, Andrei Rublev, yet another defeat for him early in a tournament, and from very winnable positions this match as well. I kept on watching it, coming away, flicking back to it, and Andrei Rublev was doing his best to just go ahead and then allow Analdi back into the match. He looks very frustrated. I thought when I saw Rublev in training, I didn't think this match was going to go well for him. He smashed up a racket just in practice. So you could tell there was frustration already boiling up from before the match had even started. And then when he actually played the match, he looked like he wanted to smash the racket up again. He luckily held back at the end of the match because he was about to do it and then just sort of held off. But I'm not sure what to say with Rublev at the moment. He's just
won an event.
Yeah, he's just won an event, but now he's back to how he was before. It's no consistencies. Good on certain tournaments. Clearly, he's good in like in the Middle East and on those type of courts. But this court, I thought he was going to have a bit more consistency coming off of that win. It's back to the same Andrei Rublev again. And I think someone like a Draper can look at someone like an Andrei Rublev and think, come on, I'm better than him right now.
For sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Can go above. Rublev's 7 in the world.
Yep.
Draper's 12. I think they should be swapped around right now.
Well, it shouldn't, because the rankings don't lie. He's there on merit at the moment because of the points. The points are the points. Draper needs to prove that he is number 7, and I believe he can do. I agree with what you're saying with that. And yeah, Rublev, very, very hot and cold. But shout out to Analdi. I think he is a fantastic player.
Very good.
I saw some of that match because I was flicking between the channels. There's a lot of things going on at the same time. A lot of matches to try and watch all of them. But from what I was seeing, every time I had it on that channel, Analdi was hitting winners. He was hitting really good shots. And I think he's an exciting player to watch. I've not watched him that much, but from seeing him against Rublev, I thought, oh wow, this guy's a lot better than I even thought he was. So someone who's another Italian who can be very dangerous. And look at this, unforced errors made by top 10 players in their opening round matches at Indian Wells. 51 for Rude, 37 for Djokovic, 37 for Zverev, 33 for Rublev. And they're the ones who were all lost. We've obviously got no Sinner in this tournament. And it's a decimated top 8 fields. I think only 50% have advanced through to the next round. And a lot of them going out. On the women's, I said it on the intro, they've been a lot more consistent. Coco Gauff almost lost. There was a few others who almost lost. But on the whole, they've been really good. And I'm going to give a shout out to Madison Keys as my number one. She has been so impressive. Really, really good.
Yeah, brilliant. She's continuing on from her Australian Open victory. And being in America as well, this is the place where the Americans do shine. The crowd are really getting behind a lot of the players there as well. I'm liking the atmosphere. It has a little bit of a US Open vibe, I think, this Indian Wells tournament, which in the past, I think it hasn't had quite the noise level. But I was impressed by watching some of the matches yesterday of how much they're getting behind certain players. Even Leylah Fernandez, she had a massive following. Despite losing yesterday, she still had a massive roar every time she was hitting winners. I think it's going to be a real telling factor for the likes of a Taylor Fritz, Coco Gauff, even Madison Keys, Jess Pegula. I mean, you see those three there. Coco Gauff, Jess Pegula and Madison Keys. All right there in that, well, they're top 5, aren't they, pretty much? So it's an exciting tournament. It's warming up a little bit, but there has been a little stumbling block here and there. Coco Gauff had a little bit of a stumble against Uchijima yesterday, but she was able to persevere and come through, not playing her best tennis. I think she hit something like 20 double faults as well. So somebody like Coco, she realises if I can win ugly, when I start playing well, then everyone's in trouble. So that's what's the way she's trying to mentally change like that bad, I'd say those bad moments in matches to make them positives. So credit to her. She's trying to twist her mental side of her game to work for her. But yeah, it was a bit ugly at certain periods of her match.
Polina Kudermetova, my wild card for the year. Another big victory against Alexandrova. Yeah. She's now at a career high of 56. So if she can keep winning a few more rounds, she's going to be flying up the rankings, doing very well. Your girl, Iva Jovic, lost, but had a really good effort against Paolini.
Yes.
Went all the way to 3. And you can see Paolini up there. I'm just interested to see, because I know you don't have Paolini in your top 10. Is she gaining points here? Not at the moment. Okay, so she must have gone another round last year, but it's not very far. So if she can keep going through the rounds now, then that will be great for my end of year predictions.
Yeah, definitely. I was impressed by Jovic, though. I thought this was always going to be a very tough challenge playing Paolini, somebody who's one of the best players on tour at the moment. So for her to take a set and to actually be competitive, that she'll take some really good lessons away from that. And this is one player, it's going to be a bit of a slow burner. She's still very young, but just keep your eyes on her throughout the course of this year, because we could see her picking up some like good victories against some higher ranked opposition. She may have a few runs at some smaller tournaments, maybe even a couple of wins at a slam, but I think this is going to be a real building year. And come next year, she could be a real mainstayer, pushing on that top 50, I think. Well, Kudermetova's already doing it. She's smashing it this year already. And that win against Alexandrova, that is very underrated, because Alexandrova's been in amazing form as well. She's not coming into this just off a load of losses. She's been winning, beating big players as well. So to get that scalp is, I'm really impressed by Kudermetova. As much as I don't like to say it, you've picked a bit of a beast there.
Yeah, she's definitely looking good. I wasn't even expecting her to be this good come March.
Yeah, no.
To be fair.
It's actually insane. I don't know how you've managed to do it, but you've somehow done a J Genius on this one. You didn't have Haddad Maia in your top 10 this year, did you? I can't remember.
No, I've got rid of her. And I even did bet on Sonny Cartel to beat Haddad Maia because I fancied it. And it happened.
Wow.
A lot easier than I thought again. I think it was like 6-2, 6-1 or something insane. Sonny Cartel, the lucky loser, didn't even get into this event. has then gone on and done some really good things. She granted a good first round match. If you got it up there, it was someone who's the girl who was done for doping for a few years and banned
It
from the tour.
was Lepchenko.
Yeah, so she's back, older. She was top 20, I think, about 10 years ago. But yeah, managed to beat her. Not a bad draw for someone who's a lucky loser into an event. And then her biggest win of her career, I think 17 in the world, Haddad Maya, 6-2, 6-1. Very, very good result for her and someone to watch. I think it's going to be a matter of time until she overtakes Raducanu. And we're going to be looking at sort of a Bolter Cartel as our top 2 English talents.
Look who she's playing next. Polina Kudermetova. Who are you cheering on now, JG?
Well, it's a win-win for both, but I would like Polina Kudermetova to win.
And
just for that.
And then she could, if Kudermetova wins that one, she could face Sabalenka in the round after. Yet, didn't they play just recently? So
yeah, that's the end of her.
I
don't mind.
Don't rule her out so quickly. Sabalenka did well. She knocked out Kessler. I thought that could have been a potential banana skin, as you did as well. Wasn't to be. Sabalenka looking strong, straight.
What was the score in that one?
The final score in that one was, let me just find out, it was 7-6, 6-3. So very close, but Saba just able to get it done at the tail end of both of the sets. I think there's not much more to digest with that one. I wanted to speak about, obviously, we were on Draper a second ago, and Draper is going through to the next round. His next opponent is somebody who knocked out somebody I thought was going to have a good tournament, Felix Auger-Aliassime, and it's Jenson Brooksby. The return of Jenson Brooksby. How is he doing this? He absolutely destroyed Felix, 6-4, 6-2, and he's come off the back. He beat Benjamin Bonzi in the first round as well. I'm impressed, because if we get the real Brooksby back again, this guy was one we thought was probably going to be knocking on the door of the top 10 at some point soon, until he disappeared off the tour. Really happy to see that he's back. He's 937 in the world at the moment, and it just goes to show that ranking doesn't speak for anything, because he's just beaten the world number 18 very comfortably.
Yeah, but that was something to do with a failure of a drugs test, like turning up late or something like that. That's why he got banned. So there's a lot of that going around on the tennis tour at the moment. It's a real shame to be still talking about it. But Brooksby's back and playing well. It doesn't surprise me massively that he's beaten Felix. Felix is still hot and cold for me. I don't know what to say about him. But Brooksby is someone who's got that level in him, so it can happen. Of course, you'd expect Felix to still win, but Brooksby, if he plays his best, I think he is as good as a player as Felix, if not better. His ceiling could even be higher. On the women's, Ben, did you do a prediction for your winner?
I think I did. I can't remember who I picked now. I'd have to go back and watch because
you didn't do the draw reaction with me, did you?
No, true. That's actually true. Yeah, we didn't do a draw preview for the women.
But I did. No, but I did it for my. I've already done one, I think, but I can't remember exactly who I picked. I think it was either Madison Keys.
Keys, I think, would have made the most sense for you. I think
I did pick Keys, or the other one was Emma Navarro. That's who I was harping on about the whole time during it.
Navarro, you were talking and bigging up, and she is looking very good as well. Yeah. I think you can't ignore Iga. It's Indian Wells, and she is an absolute beast there. Yeah, I mean, Garcia is somebody you expect to actually give her a good match, and she just
not anymore.
Look so
not anymore.
Easy.
Garcia's got a year left in her.
There you go. If you're watching this, Caroline, then just one year left on the tour. Just start counting down.
How old is Garcia?
I think, what is she, about 32? I'm going to guess 31. There you go.
I think she's done.
That's sad if you think that. Oh, 1 second. Sorry, I've just removed that screen. I'll just pop one back up on the screen, and maybe we can discuss this one, because somebody who's off the tour at the moment, have been off the tour for a whole month of their suspension. Not even missed him, have we, Yannick Sinner?
I mean, it's time to perfection, this 3-month suspension. 1 month's already gone. All this talking, and we're already 1 month there. Another 2 to go, and he's going to be ready for Roland Garros. And I think he's still going to be one of the favourites for it. Daniil Medvedev post-win. It's probably the slowest court I've played in my life. And on the camera, I believe, after he said this quote, this was after
Yeah.
I don't know when these were all said. I don't have the timelines, but I know after his match with Boo, he said, "Brilliant match, fastest court of my life," or something. You gonna bring it out?
He wrote 6-2, 6-2, and then 1 hour 36 minutes, fastest court ever, I think was the thing he wrote on the.
Bring it up.
Right, let me just see if I can find it. Is it sent?
It's
on
the tennis letter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, exactly what you've said was that. So Daniil Medvedev 6-2, 6-2. He is my champion. I remember that for the men's. I do have Daniil Medvedev winning.
There we go.
So yeah, I think it's possible. There he is, Daniil. Very funny guy. Do you think he can win it?
Yeah, I do. I still think that he has the ability to win on this court. He's got to the final twice before. I think he's getting used to it because it's the same as clay. He was never really good on the clay, but he's been getting better and better on the clay as well. Anything can happen here. I've been surprised by some of the results at Indian Wells, and I think we've seen a lot of underdogs winning, but we have seen some of the people who normally do well here still just ploughing through, and he's one of them. Alcaraz is another one. He's looking very, very good as well, knocking out Conton Elise in straight sets. But Medvedev, yeah, keep your eye on him. He is definitely going to be there or thereabouts, I think, come the end of the second week. A very dangerous player. But this court, even Djokovic was saying it. He said it's just bounce. He said it bounces so high. He said it's bouncing higher than the slowest clay court, which for me just sounds crazy. I mean, I'd like to get over there. I need a little bit more time to get to the ball, to be honest. So the clay suits me down to the ground.
Yeah, I do like this event because the timings works quite well for the UK. It seems. I'm always up relatively late and I'm working during the day. So the moment I finish work, I can just put it on. We've got all the coverage now on Sky Sports. So it's perfect. I'm looking forward to today's action. I've already got a few matches I've put in my timeline to tune into. So it should be another great day of action. Make sure to be watching, and we're going to be trying to do these podcasts every few days now during Indian Wells, or if any big stories happen as well, we'll cover them as and when. But if you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, check us out on Spotify, and we'll see you for the next one.
See you then.